සසරේ විරියෙන් බලයෙන් දිනු භාව කතරේ සුගත තථාගත සරණයි මෙවරේ රාග විරාග මානේජ මාසෝකං ධම්ම මාසංකාත මප්පාටි කුලං මధుරමීමං පාගුණං සුවිභත්තං ධම්මමීමං සරණත්ථ මුපේමි එල්මින් තුමෙන් සුවින් ඉවත් වූ පිළිකුල් නොවන දහම් ගඟක් වූ මිහිරෙන් වැඩුමින් මුණවට පෙන් වූ දහම් සරණ යමි මාහට සිත් වූ යත්ථ ච දින්න මහප්ඵාල මාහු චතුසු සුචිසු පුරිස යෝගේසු අට්ඨ ච පුංගල ධම්ම දාසාති සංඝමීමං සරණත්ථ මුපේමි සිව් සිව් මගඵල අනුව නිවන් පත් සංඝගණ අට පුඟුලෝ යාන නම් ලත් දින දින දිය කරනා මහා බලවත් සරණට එළඹෙමි මහා සංඝ බලවත්
සියලු දෙනාටම ශාන්තිය ධර්මයේ ශක්තිය ශාන්තිය ලැබෙන්න මේ ආපු ගමනේ ධෛර්යය ලැබෙන්න ප්‍රතිපත්තිය ගමන් කරන්න ශක්තිමන්ත වෙන්න බලයක් ලැබෙන්න තමන්ට මේ බණ තියෙනවා බණ ඇහෙනවා බණ නෙමෙයි කොහොමද how we can make it to it's in English right okay yeah I hope you all get all the strength and the will. We have heard so many discourses, so many. We are hearing, sometimes we get opportunity through the internet also. But these things should help you to practice. Practice is the most important thing. And in my approach, most important means if you don't practice, you don't get the real taste of this. So this is like something like some kind of food you can never know until you taste it. So this you can only taste from your mind. It's a type of feeling. There are two types of feeling we have. One which we experience and then for that time we are happy or excited, and then after that it's finished and we go again to we go again getting that feeling, we have to go continue. But normally it's such a, like for example you go to a cinema, those days we had cinema halls. I remember when we had go to a cinema hall, not as a monk, okay, let's go to a cinema hall, just after the movie is all finished, it looks so boring. Looks so like dim. You go back home. Of course, I used to go with my parents as a young boy. This every kind of feeling that is connected with the senses that you come in contact with and then you feel. These things, okay, that time it's there, you're happy. But then again, after that, it looks empty. You have to go on experiencing the same thing. There's another kind of experience where you avoid the experiences or give up, and then you experience this happiness. So normally when you experience these pleasurable feelings, okay, your desires increase. So according to Buddha's teaching, this is what he found out. Proportionate to your desires, you have suffering. So when we experience these feelings, it increases our greed, our craving. So whatever feeling we, get more craving, after that experience, we feel empty, and there also leaves a kind of unsatisfactoriness and sadness in us. For no reason. We think there's no reason. There is a reason. Why? Because our mind gets corrupt. There's another happiness. Now, I call this sadness without a reason. And there is also another one where you give up and you discipline. You come out of your addictions and you don't become compulsive. When you do this way, for example, say some food you can eat and enjoy, or you can give and feel the happiness of giving. Say you do like that, then what happens? You're not allowing your craving to rise. Then you experience, not at that time, after that, a happiness for no reason. So this is the thing now. We have learned to choose this way, to be happy, to be joyful without a reason. I didn't imagine today I'm going to speak in English. Okay. That completely, it's okay. Nice for me because I've been forced to speak in Sinhalese for many, many years now. But as a young boy, I was, in Southern Africa, brought up there in Lesotho. And like them, I forgot Sinhalese completely at the age of like 18 when I came back. And anyway, when I want to communicate, those days it was not Dhamma as such, but philosophy. I was already very into knowing the secret of life. Then I have to, the mostly who I met in Sri Lanka was Sinhalese people, and then I had to speak in Sinhalese language. Later on, as a monk also, the groups of people are meeting all Sinhalese, and I had to give them this teaching. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I am only with heart of compassion. I'm trying my best to communicate this truth, and maybe I can stop a tear also in the people. This is the only satisfaction I would like to have. So anyway, so these are the two pursuits you can go. There are a lot of young people. I don't know. I'm not a Dhamma preacher. It will be this, but I will give you some points. How many of you are new here? First time you're coming, you're seeing me. How many of you? Okay. Oh, quite a lot. Okay. Quite a number. Okay. Yes. Actually, this program, I had a gut feeling it's going to be okay. Finally asked me, the gentleman who is organizing Swami Manse, so I did remove my glasses and no, if you can remember the moment I answered you, I removed my glasses and I have another last moment way of, we have this, normally we are now losing that ability. So gut feeling and intuition, these are things that we can know some things about reality, that how things might happen. So anyway, I feel very happy coming here, tell you honestly, seeing all of you. I hope I can communicate some of the things I want to share with you all. As I told you from the beginning, what we need is to practice, to transform our life, to change our thing, to appreciate, that there is something in our mind where we can experience peacefulness, especially in our day-to-day life. If we can have a routine and good habits, then we are going to, experience well-being, not only spiritually, even materially. Whatever we may have to face in life, if we can start the day with that peacefulness, without the anxiety, you perform better. Even if you have to go to gallows, maybe death you have to face. But this thing you can do. This is the strength we get from the Buddha's teaching. And Buddha teaches us that to be cool, to be the coolest guy, right? You all want to be in any situation, to be fearless, to be, and I got to know two boys who came to the retreat we are having. They, not boy and a girl. In fact, today evening they gave me the lampasa. So already they're having, like anxiety going to the exams and all that. But they were there for 3 days, actually 6-7 days retreat. They just came in just to take part for a few days. But that 3 days, that has made them less anxious face their anxiety and all that, the exams. Of course, still not completely this thing, but at least that shows how it will help more to reduce that kind of unnecessary excitement, and you'll perform better. And tell you honestly, I passed because of that quality, not because I studied. Because I hardly, I was not interested in the school studies. And this is something because of this memorizing things. But things that are related to thinking and some puzzles, I used to always like. But soon I found it's all found out and I had no interest. So anyway, what I'm going to share with you all, let's see. What do you want to know from me? What did you hear about me? Or what do you want to know? Anything? Thought maybe we'll go and ask this one Swamin answer when he comes. Anything particular? Yes? You have always questioned. Okay, yes? Okay. That's his very good question. He's asking how to be happy doing something. I mean, I did something like that, doing my studies to make my father happy. Even going to university, where he was very concerned. There is an happiness where you go do what you like. Okay, that's, but you do something as a duty. And when you do something but you don't like, what it becomes, what you are doing, you're sacrificing. When you be a person who sacrifices, right, you become sacred. That's why it starts like that. You do things what you don't like, but it's a benefit for somebody or for you or for others also. And that really makes you, that going upstream, going beyond your normal, comfort zone and doing things. Everybody who has succeeded or achieved something, they have done like that. So, how to be, you have to know this benefit. And when you're doing it also, you'll find inner happiness start to come. Not as now what I was talking about, the happiness for no reason. That happens to happen in you. Especially with parents and even working places. But you can make a decision to say no to that also. If you find that you're doing something unwholesome, like, you're going to lie or steal, or you're going to encourage somebody to, do something. There's a clock. Okay. So what? What do you, also satya or not? 10. What do you, if there's a hand, like a small, just for me to have that. What do you tell? Vela bala ganti padrati. Mekati hitanne, you all are standing, right? You can come here and sit down. Okay, you can keep it. That's fine. Have some idea. You all can come here. Metana indagan pulan. nothing wrong, the pity person. You can come here if you like. Before you all go, I'll give something. Okay. Today maybe in this cafe I might be having that. 2 times I was a little bit busy. It's okay like that. All right. So we have a watch. Don't worry. We got a watch here. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, I want to. Anyone else want to know something? I will start from that. Some. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's a. Okay. It's not a one single word answer, Putta. Okay, I can tell you. How old are you, by the way? 7. Okay. Maybe that. What is the grades you have? Like grade 1, 2, 3, 4 from preschool. This will be like 7, no, 5 years, no? From 5 years you start school, right? Okay. Then no, not at your age. I was very naughty, Putta. Extremely naughty, but I look so innocent, like Even now I'm like that. So at that time, I used to play a lot, too much like, but I saw my mom meditating. I used to see her, and I thought it's a girl's thing. Actually, like she's doing this compassionate meditation, wishing everybody happy, happy like this. So yeah, she used to do that, but I know that it made an impact on my mind when I saw that. And also when I saw monks, I felt suddenly attracted. I ran to them and used to worship and go back to my play. I remember one Pindapata or arms round going monk was going past our house like once a week. But when I see him, I used to just run. But little bigger than you, maybe 9 years old or 10, maybe even little, maybe, yeah, I don't think that more than that. Uh, yes, me and my friend, we were in Sri Lanka, one school, and we imagined we were monks. We want to run away from home. And we were going around a tree thinking we are both monks and we know our parents won't give us permission. That's the first time I would say, I don't know how it came. So this, but like I don't know if you understand this, like a fantasy or like a dream or like a romantic feeling about a monk. But then when I was 18 years old, I was searching for, what is life, what is meaning, why I'm born. So I interested in so many like physics and science and all that. And something brought me there, experiences to see like this is all not very real. You understand what I'm saying? Then only I became a monk. Became means I knew this is the way. Like one thing I would say is someone asked me one time, what is the meaning of life? I think the last program. What do you think meaning of life is? You don't know? Okay. Good, you don't know. Because there's no meaning. Remember this. There's no meaning. That's what the meaning is. Then what's the purpose of life? Is to realize there's no meaning. To know that. One day, I hope, this time why I became monk. Why do you want to ask this question from me? You want to know how I became? Why do you want to know again? You think I was not a monk before like you? I suddenly became a monk? Once I was playing like you and all that? You think so? Yeah, it's true. I was playing and all that and I became a monk. It looks so different, right? Monks look so different. And later on, I want to be a monk because I can help a lot of people. I can serve a lot of them, stop their tears. I can be a hero in that way. Like to be like that? And and make sure that they're all, I'm sorry, they might all become monks, right? Can't help it. They'll, anyway. Anybody else want to ask something? I want to start to talk some, yes? Yeah. Okay. Very good, yeah. Okay, very good. First of all, I think we must learn to tap our brain, power of our brain, capability. Most of the brain is not working properly. We have potential. Sometimes we might think we have a lot of work, we have this, that, and we can't meditate and all that. Actually, if you tap the power of your brain more, you have learned sometimes to become like multitask. You can perform so many in a one way that you have sometimes managed to do. But to be without stress and anxiety, this is another practice. So these are my main topics now. Actually, I want to cover in this program practically how to do it. So initially, you must learn. The thing is to get a life where you don't feel tired while you're doing things, like you're performing this work. So one main thing I have told this even from young people. Yes. Sorry. You want to what? Okay. Can you hear? Okay. So one thing I would teach is to do things without feeling tired, which I also did. So that's why I told you initially there's a thing you have to tap where your mind, there's a cool part in your mind that you must learn to open it. Now I hope like coming like this, it will make you open. But other thing also, you must recognize things that you get distracted with. Now there are things you're addicted. Now you can't start meditating suddenly. Say you're taking some alcohol or smoking, for example, or any other thing. Now today we have alcohol smoking in the form of from the internet, where dopamine is so much release, and that's another form where we are addicted and we are losing a lot of energy, and even we are losing the focus power from that. This is something I'm going to touch now. And so these things, if you don't know how to, you must first recognize that, and then discipline oneself, slowly monitor yourself that you are reducing these things, especially with the phone. For example, I got to know, like, even the YouTube, the videos, they are so much dopamine. That's why you want, they have created it such a way that you want to look at it again and again, or it has that effect. All this, most of it what comes from the internet, it has this. So now, actually, I encourage people to read books, and now that I will explain a little more. Especially this through the internet, the blue light, it's supposed to affect we have something called a pineal gland. And the pineal gland within us, in the pineal gland, there's this serotonin, right? Serotonin, okay? I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. It's a very tough word for me. Serotonin, this very clearly known that it reduces that. And that's what creates our inability to focus, and depression and all this thing. So this is something we have to recognize. Like when we are using such a device, we have to use for work purpose. So just for the work purpose, and it's so addictive. Like for example, like you have something called doom scrolling, where you go to the short videos and go on. So these are very important things to recognize. And like when you get up, you use the phone. When you sleep, before you sleep, you use the phone. If you do like this, your life is not going to be very powerful, very effective. And because you're not tapping your full potential, person develops when he develops his focus power. Even in business or anything, he has someone makes a mark because he has developed a ability to focus. So whatever that helps you to focus, you must know and then do that. And whatever that will damage it, you must learn to avoid. So phone, I think I would say in the modern times, one has to be careful. Just use it for what is this work purpose, to discipline like that. And there's another thing. If you start reading books, there's more focus power. And this time, this my trip, I have a special message, in fact, regarding reading the Buddha's teaching. What happens to your brain? I will touch that because that's my main purpose of this journey. Certain things happen to me. I will come slowly. All that I will cover. About that's the main thing I'm trying to cover with your busy life. Now I know sometimes you can't pay one sutta we were reading, going through. I was feeling sad also. Actually, where Buddha talks about how to not to have a home, but he relates it to consciousness. Consciousness finds, like with consciousness, it needs an object. It takes feeling perception as an object and make it a dwelling place with craving. It makes it live in a home. That's how the consciousness is working. That's how Buddha is telling. It's like a poem he tells. And then how to be homeless is to have no craving and not to be focused to any feelings or perceptions. And then the consciousness has no home. How to be homeless. But when I read that sutta, immediately I saw the people, they felt like, they were like in a state of some mysterious silence. But I was gathering that because I could imagine sometimes you can't pay the bills or something, and there's this worst scenario you can fall into, right? I don't know. They'll sometimes start to live in a car or something. So, but I believe even these things, to face these things, when you are in the Dhamma, you're not alone. You generate such energy and protection, such things, such a vibration who are selfless, who are such a powerful going, and their willpower, that level of vibration, you are also generating, and you are coming in contact with that, and their support will come. Suddenly you find what it is like consequences, no, not consequences. Sorry, like there's a word I forget, but like you suddenly, you come across something accidentally. It looks accidentally, but it seemed to be like, how can it appear there? So this kind of support you will get when you are in contact, when you're going on such a path. But if you don't have such a thing, there's nothing for you to. So now I'm trying to tell you a way of life, and where you are, whatever condition your life is, that you're going to be in contact and you're going to get the protection and guidance of another higher. Now we are using, I saw dogs they're using, right? To guide and all that. So same way, dogs are lower beings, but we can get help from higher beings when you are going on a higher path, right? That is going to happen for sure. I don't know how to explain. My whole life is based on that. And so anyway, I want to tell about this reading thing and how it's going to affect your mind. I must tell you my journey here. Now nearly 2017, I came to Australia and all this journey, but that was also, I had a near-death experience in Manasarova, Kailash, and there I've regretted, actually. I thought I have not given enough to the people, and then I thought, doesn't matter, next life I'll have to do this. So thinking like this, then I managed to escape that situation. So after that, I decided to go all these particular countries, started from Australia. And then after that trip, I was planned to come next year. I thought I will come, but again, I was with my tapasya, going to Himalayas, then also Sri Lanka, the jungle, and doing the thing to clear my karma. So then last year, only I had this special experience. I must tell you this. This experience was such that I was first in Rishikesh in the Himalayas. I had this, I had an operation done for stones. And then After like 1 month, I was in Delhi. I got a dog bite. Then after that, I went to Kailas. I had faced so much weakness again. I had to take oxygen and go. It was also life. So I'm just trying to tell after that, after these three incidences, things started to happen in a positive way. Things started to happen in a positive way means I had a certain special meeting, August 1st, where I don't know whether you all are familiar. Sometimes in India, you have these people who are like seers. They are called rishis, who have also developed thought, word, deed, purity to a certain level, and they have certain, you could say, divine intuition, divine awareness. So such a meeting happened with me. I mean, this particular person, he he's very popular now in India. He's causing a lot of miracles and kind of so it's very appealing to people who are like don't believe at all these things beyond this thing. But it's funny, we're supposed to be both of us supposed to be previous life together as brother yogis, and supposed to be similar, very similar. But of course, in that part also maybe I'm similar, but I'm similar. I'm very different. I'm very much into Buddha and gone into his Dhamma in a deep way. But anyway, he gave me a very nice point. He was like, what he did was he told me, your meditation is not enough. One time he told me, I was wondering what he meant by that, and I asked him later. He said later that there's this no me, no I meditation. That's how he said. His English is not very good. No, how the practicing to see there's no me, no I, or who am I? To question and to find there's no me here. Like this is me, what we call me as our body or our consciousness. There's no really a me as such. So he told me, this is the meditation you must do. This, if you do, we will come searching for you. I know he has no connection or no this thing with this kind of, he has no knowledge, but he could say internally that there's something I have practiced maybe in the past or kept it not practiced now. And then that I should do this, that this is the highest, he told me one time. Finally, he told me, this is the highest meditation. And if you do this, we will have to come searching for you, Swami, like this. That's the time he also told me we both have been together past life. And it's interesting because it's very difficult to meet him. And I happen to meet him almost every time I go there in a very mysterious way. So my assistant is the one who, took me there, told me to go there, that I will definitely meet him. And I asked him later, how do you believe that I would meet him? What is your belief? I has no belief that I would have contact with that. So he told me, Swami, he told me, he's an Indian person. He told me, when a drug lord or somebody, is coming in the airport or somewhere, he sees another dealing with drugs, then he suddenly recognized that same person. So same way, so he nicely, made that this thing is true. Like who are on the same path, they will be helping you. So it was a big help for me. The reason is, later you also told there's a book beside you. When you read that, all it will become clear in your mind. So what is the book I had all the time? It was the Samyutta Nikaya, Buddha's special discourses that are talking about which leads to liberation. These words are there in that book. So I have been reading these things as a young boy, very strong, and I have been meditating on it in a deep way. But later I was driven more to the samadhi practice, concentration practice. So then when I was in difficulty, I used to practice that, because that meditation can be done in any situation. If there's a lot of sound, if there's some disturbance, because you're looking at reality. You're not, that practice is not about you have to create another thought, another mind. You take the very thought you have, and then you can see the truth about it. What is the nature of this thought? How does it come? How do you experience that? Like that, you can analyze it. And when you analyze properly, you know that if it is not in our control, something is not ours. So like if you can control something, if the thought we can't control, then we remind ourselves, this thought is not me, not I. This is one practice which we can use that. So not attaching to anything that we can't control. So this is this kind of practice is in that teaching, in the Buddha's main teaching. You have to ask me some question. Wait, I will tell you one by one. Otherwise, I also get bored and you'll also get bored, right? Because this, I'm not a Dhamma preacher. Wait. So in this teaching, this reading the books, then what I did was, once I met again without reading the books, I met him after doing my normal practices of, then I asked him, how is my practice now? Then he said like this, what does it mean? It means medium. So then I knew there's something wrong. Then only he explained to me that there's no me, there's a practice like this, you must do that. Then I knew I had to read those books. Went to Sri Lanka, in the jungle, I started reading these books. Then part of it I read and I went and met him. Then 80% he saw that I have developed this. Then after that, I went again and practiced. Then 120%. Then only started doing these retreats in Sri Lanka. This is a little background of what after my meditation, how I came to. In Sri Lanka, I started now a few months back, where I started to give this, because I know that even just simply reading these suttas, these ancient words, has a special effect on your brain. It clears your destiny, it clears your karma faster, because it's coming from an enlightened being. So now, if you can do that, there are stories about some serial killers, okay? They met the Buddha and they become enlightened. What does it mean, enlightened? One of these discourses regarding who is me, where is me, there's a me actually. This has been realized, Buddha, by his teaching, it was fully realized by this particular person, the saints. And this one of them was Angulimala. And what happened to him after that, that if he didn't do that, what would have happened to him? He would have been one thing, caught by the king and put in prison, or the other thing would have been, after his death, as we know in the teaching, he will go to the hell worlds. But what happened when he realized this, all that the king didn't catch him, he became a monk, and then he did experience that karma. How was it? When he used to go arms round, when he come back, he used to come with blood. When whoever throws a stone or something, it hits him. And then with wounds and all that, he used to come. So that pain is very less compared to the pain he'll have to go through. But are you familiar with the law of karma? Do you think it does work? Or do you think it is something, hocus pocus? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, I will tell you. Have you heard about Edgar Cayce, Many Mansions? Anybody? Okay. Edgar Cayce, he was called the Miracle Man of Virginia. It's very interesting. He used to go into an unconscious state, and he used to diagnose people when they have, all kind of ailments which can't be cured. They used to go to him, and he used to tell some solutions, even like poison, he used to give as a remedy. And he used to go back to some deeds we did in the time of Crusaders sometimes. Some things we did, he used to relay. There's one nice story. I read so many. It's very interesting. I hope you all get that book, because these are very important. Swami Manse is not coming to teach you all or anybody. I'm not coming to tickle your mind, actually. This is actually, if you are really interested in liberation, and but you must know what is liberation. For me, problem is not just day-to-day peacefulness. The problem is, for me, is whether I'll have slightest trace of fear when facing death, and to overcome that completely. So this is very important. The meditation is not to have calmness, or I will teach you how you become more beautiful also in meditation. This I will also touch. That will help you. You told about the day-to-day this thing. So anyway, I will tell about one story of this Edgar Casey. One of the case studies was one lady in New York. She was using her hand, beautiful. She had a very special, beautiful hand. So she used to use that as a profession in the jewelry, jewelry advertisement. So they used to show her hand, and she earned her living that way. And she was also spiritually inclined, very inclined. And she had another problem, and she wanted to get a solution, and she came to Edgar Casey. And in his unconscious state, it is said why she's so spiritual. She has been a nun in previous lives. Now that's also another explanation, Putta. That's why I got the thought of becoming a monk. I think I would have been a monk in the past life before I was born. So anyway, she was a nun. She has why she got the beautiful hand. With great reverence, she has cleaned the toilets and all other things with not with a yuck feeling, like feeling really. That was the karma that got her that beautiful hand. Okay, so these are many stories are there, very interesting. Even if you think something internally, we know from the teachings that that how we are intention that makes the karma, and even to have a like a internal thought that is starting the karma. When you speak with that, it will be more severe, and if you act with that, it will be more severe. So greater severe. So like this karma law is very important to know. It's very important to know. I hope you all will read that if you want to really know the truth of life. And the other thing is, you must make sure daily practice. What does it happen? Now, there are so many things that distract us. When you do anything that is sensually, what is this? Attractive things that are drain our energy. For example, even when we get fear and worry, we know adrenaline is created in our thing. Adrenaline, that very hormone, makes us have those thoughts again. Okay. Say when we have faith, when we now do have mindfulness, have wisdom, especially faith, and like very delightful feeling within us in our heart. Sometimes our hearts are very dry, very this thing, it doesn't open up. We don't even have a tear coming out of sometimes some people like that. But say we are having a lot of faith and devotion and calmness in mind, and we practice yoga or whatever, there's something also should happen. It's opposite of greed, hate, and fear. When some emotion, opposite emotion happens, something also should be created in our body. There is something. It is not, there's no word in the Western terminologies. There is one word that we can say, it's called in the Ayurveda, ojas. So when ojas is actually, when we do more of this and calm our mind, ojas is created. It normally goes to our brain and opens up areas which are not functioning, and they get deposited. And that creates those thoughts again. It's like a cycle, each one, this one creates this, that creates that. And then more of that is created. Normally you get a shine in your cheeks and your skin looks very fine. Even it may have a dark skin and you look pleasant, magnetic. So this is, I'm not advertising this, okay? It's not Fair and Lovely or something, cream that I'm telling about, okay? This is true. This is even models, and they now do yoga to get that charm. They know that there's attractive, this thing coming out. So this is something you will get by that. So there's another one. When you analyze, when you reflect, when you read the books and analyze, what do you get? There's something called tejas. This is a very special, more finer than that which you get when you calm your mind. So this is more you're reading, more you're intellectually analyzing, reflecting. You get that special substance created in your, that goes to your brain and opens up a special area in your brain. So one thing I must tell you, especially regarding sensuality, sometimes you do some negative things, okay, in your bad habits, maybe, we don't know, suddenly we do We think we have a bath or something and everything is okay. No. It creates a mark, and especially if you do something physically. Okay, you might think about something, but you might not act on it. That way, some degree you are protected. But if you do to go to a level of physical this thing, it is also recorded in a certain, the karma records are there. I'm getting many stories if I'm going to tell that, but I will tell you one thing. So we must know everything is accountable. We can't just, erase it. Suddenly we realize our life is stagnating. Our things, because, nature has its own rules and laws. It waits until whether you are correcting yourself or whether you are changing and coming. It's okay. So one thing I must tell you, there was my that is my one of my close yogi friend, a lady. So she had a granddaughter. So one day, her granddaughter has gone astray because they were like in Sri Lanka. They were like they couldn't afford or anything, but they put her to this British school. And the thing is that girl's father, doesn't think in terms of their means. Want to think very high-fi. So anyway, they put this girl into the school, and then they went for these sleepovers. I don't know. They have, and then they met. They have the father-in-law. He never knew there's a darker side of the Western, but this civilization. So then suddenly they got a shock, and then she went. She was addicted to certain things, and then one day she came to see me, and then the mother asked, the grandmother asked when she was coming, Due, have you taken a bath? And then I was also wondering why she said, have you taken a bath? To see around her, there was this smell of feces, of stools. So I can understand, because then she told me, actually, she didn't want to tell anyone. She told me very distinctly, Swami Mansa, for 2 years I have been addicted. I, take the phone and go into the toilet or whatever, and, looking at this particular in the what is this, internet. So she told like this. Then what happened? What does it have? What I asked last time I came, I explained very clearly. You are attracting those unwholesome, you could say, demons army. The bhutas, pretas, they come. They are with that smell. So normally that's why when our character gets this thing, it's going to make our looks also this thing, and it's also going to give a mark. It's not going to you're going to have a bath or have shampoo or everything will be okay. No. So you must remember these things. This will help you all. So anything sensual, of course, these things are at a stronger level. So in your lifestyle, you must make sure these things we must remove. It doesn't mean we are going to die if you don't do those things. So that's very important, that consciously we have recognized, and then we keep away these things for 3 days, 1 week. Like that, we create another system within us where these things slowly will disappear. And those unnecessary, when you have a bad character, or when you're going in a wrong way, your business, everything is going to be affected. Your family life, everything, going to be affected. So one thing you can clear yourself is that, like we say, be a better version of yourself. That's the best version. Best version of yourself. That's you can be. So what you do is you take away those unnecessary addictive things and see the danger. And when you practice, when you do little meditation, calm your mind, you must also see the benefit. Your parts of your brain are going to be open. And then not only that, when that happens, you are going to touch that cooler brain. Then then what happens? You will be a better wife. You will be a better husband. You will be a better son. It's not going to disturb. It's not going to happen that way. And you will be a better employer. You'll be a better, of everything what you're doing. because your mind will be getting free from greed. Greed, less anger is going to make your life better. Okay, so daily practice, very important. I told you how ojas is, tejas is created. Make sure, and then I told sensuality, even the video games, now YouTube, you find even those things like video games. I got to know the addiction to that, it's very well known. I think, what's his name? The Google who, what's his, that is a German name he has, no? Sorry? What's his name? Sorry? Zuckerberg, right? How do you pronounce? Yeah, it's a German name, no? I think, yeah. So look, now, it has come out that, parents who are suicide, that he's responsible. And they have put all these, laws and rules to protect themselves, immunity from all this, to be accountable. So this is very important, you must take it seriously. And I think children, until they are until they're 18, the parents should be, when they're using these devices, they should be there. They should be there for studies they might be using. Okay, you must supervise, definitely. I think that's your job. And that's very important. I think you should be doing that. You should. And sometimes, we, to calm them down, to make them happy, we just give. I don't know how to do it. Luckily, I'm not a parent. So I know it's a big thing. And another thing, parents might want to, like, you have problems with your children, I will tell you how to do this. Okay, though I'm not a parent, I will at least give you some ideas. I am a big parent, look, all of you all are my children. Wherever I go, it's not easy thing. How I'm going to teach you? How do I do? I will tell you how. I will not give you the answer immediately. Why I stay so long in the meditation? Why I do some things? Then I know, not my words or anything, my presence and everything will do something for you all. If I have really done something, it has a force. Okay, today we were talking with, what is this? I went to see Somahandro's, the Berwick temple, where I wanted to go there. I must go and stay there actually, because they are my roots. Somahan, so there was the young monk who came there. Then I just told him about how the sutras daily to read them, so that it will create that this thing and to create their own destiny. Somahandros didn't build temples actually, they built themselves first. Later only they established these things, but still they were practitioners throughout. Of course, he went a little bit to the nation and want to revive, but they had that solid foundation of practicing themselves. He would not open his door until 8 for breakfast. We know that he does a practice, a ritual, and then he comes out to do whatever. So they had, now that's another thing. Daily you must try to make a ritual, small ritual. Where you are doing some puja, some chanting, and practice, and then to monitor your actions. What are now, as I told you, things that we are addicted to, even in the phone, then to limit it, so that we will improve our focus power. And then other thing is to just pay attention to what you're experiencing now. Your mind might run to the past, the future. This you must learn to practice. Whether you're walking, whether you're going to the car, just learn to observe. Your mind will run, but you must remind again to look now, look now. Let me just see what I'm seeing, and then pay attention. If you do this several times, you'll find you will get that peacefulness coming to your mind. Initially, it might look hard. I have taught this in UK, when you're driving, how to feel the hand, the steering wheel, and then the back touching to the seat. Just the feel. If you pay attention, that awareness begin to increase. Whatever we pay attention to, that awareness increases. So if you do something unaware, that increases more. If you do something more aware, that faculty starts to increase. And then you must take it as a great gain when you're doing this, because these are the things we must develop. Then we are mastering ourselves. So initially, very important to remove any kind of addiction and know the benefit of giving up, and know the benefit of adding these practices. But very important thing, if you want to change others, there's one secret. Okay. I have told this, maybe all the old people will get bored with it, can't help it. Okay, I like this story because a hero of me is one of them is like Swami Vivekananda. Have you heard about him? The two stories about him. Swami Vivekananda is a young Swami in India. He actually he was representing Hinduism in Parliament of Religions in 1894. Buddhism was represented by, do you know anyone called Anagarika Dharmapala? Young ones, do you know Anagarika Dharmapala? It's sad situation. I was in Berwick also. None of them know about Anagarika Dharmapala or Somahandra. No. So parents don't tell about our Sri Lankan heroes. No. Oh my goodness. Anagarika Dharmapala, at least in the schools they are not taught, right? Maybe that. Anyway. So Swami Vivekananda, I will tell, he was a young Swami. Do you know when I say the word Swami? Who is he? Who is Swami? Yeah, correct. Yeah, like me. Okay, this is in the Hindu tradition. He was representing Hinduism, and then what happened? He lost his way. There he lost the address and all that. So he was going arms round in Chicago. No one gives food there. Maybe like here also, no one knows who is wearing a turban and all that. But young Swami, and then he was once staying lost. Suddenly, a lady from a front house came and said, "Swami, are you going to the Parliament of Religions?" And then it was funny. She has seen him in dream the previous night with his teacher. He saw that old Swami and there's someone just like him. So this is the one that he made her recognize her. Oh, this is the person I saw in dream. And then what is this? She went and she showed him the way. And then later she came and after he became famous, he even stayed in their home. So what happened? Swami Vivekananda, he was very shy. He saw about 77,000 in that auditorium. So he didn't give a speech at all. Others were giving speeches, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then his turn came finally. He had to give this speech. And then what happened? He stood up, they say, and he said, "Sisters and brothers of America, they say the parliament went mad." That's how the paper reporters this thing. And we feel like paying tribute to something we didn't know what it was. Like there's so many comments. He became so famous after that. And everybody was trying to know, who is this Vivekananda? Who is this Vivekananda? Later on, somebody asked, "What is that power, Swami? What is that power you had, that day that it like," they say his voice is like a Chinese gong, doom. go, like when this thing, it like makes an echo. So he says, in the yogic practice, the Hindu yogic practice, there's a practice where you don't even think a sensual thought. Okay, a thought which is with greed or lust, mainly with lust actually. When that is practiced for 12 years, he says that there is like a covering in our brain that gets removed. And when that gets removed, there is a special nerve which normally doesn't operate in every person. That nerves or neuron, now we know, that special neuron starts to work. And then in that neuron, there is a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and power and everything. So this is what he said. He also practiced that for 12 years. It's very interesting because and that purity only came out of his voice, which he just said, "Sisters and brothers of America." And it's like just simple words so much. And so we can understand, this is very important. And one day he was asked, one mother brought a young boy and said, "The Swami, I think the next programs others will not come." Because I have nothing to say. I had to go on I'm touching some points of Kamadinama, Nekka Manisangsa and Nibbana. Okay, I am trying to cover it up in practical. Okay. So this Swami, he came with a child. This one mother came with a young boy. Don't worry, look at Kaladar Endepa thing in there. ආන්දරයන් ඉස්සර තවත් ශක්තිය දෙනවා. හරිද? දන්නවා එක එකවත් ගැටලුවක් ඉන්නවා. ගණන් ගන්න එපා. So Kumahari, but then what happened? This boy asked, Swami, mother told, please Swami, give some mantra or give some blessings. This boy is addicted to sweets. He's getting fat. And then the Swami looked at him and said, come after 10 days. Okay. So the boy went, they all went, came after 10 days. And then Swami looked at him and said, hereafter don't eat sweets. And the mother was waiting for more blessings or something, but Swami didn't do anything. Just say, yeah, Swami, you didn't bless him, you didn't give him a mantra or something. This is my mantra. Don't eat sweets hereafter. And they said, why didn't you not tell this 10 days back? The mother said, 10 days ago, I was eating sweets. So this is very important. This is very true. Why Somahandra, when he was teaching, also people change a lot. He was practicing. That's that purity within him. A mystical force goes as such a people. Today we discuss also with that brother monk. This was the main reason. So if you want to change or help the others, we have to, even our children, first we have to, establish something. And then something, we must make a vow or we must make a change in our life. And also not to expect, not to have so much obsession to them, like trying to do only your duty and make sure your other duty is to not to get attached to them. I had grandmothers who, when the son was dying, great grandmother actually, when the son was dying, they didn't even look at them. He had a japamala and was in front of the Buddha statue. You know why? I was wondering why, how she did it. She used to tell when she's like, with my mother, daughter, this is how, there's one meditation called 9 days cemetery contemplation. The 9 days, how the body will, become bloated, and then the animals will come and eat, and there's a way to visualize. So that means she has been doing these practices. Okay. If you are doing like that, your attachment will reduce. And this will help your child and it will help you also. Why? One thing, you being upset or anything, anywhere, it is not going to help anyone. Say you're going to die with that feeling of attachment. Do you think you'll be born in a good place? I have researched a lot about this. The last moment, people who have done a lot of good deeds, I hope you can notice if someone is working in hospice or something, okay? You can notice when they're dying, nearly dying, you will see they get what is not schizophrenia. Then you see the hallucination, you speak to you feel there's somebody. There's some other thing, I think. Anyway, there is this thing where they're seeing their grandmother, their uncle, auntie, or mother, father, and they're talking. The last moment, the doctors don't know. They give some sedation or some kind of mental this thing to calm down. This is why, because these people have so much attachment to the sensual world, had created karma in that way, and then that influence is coming at the last moment, and that will take you to that birth. Definitely, that birth means that birth is like a transit lounge. We don't want to stay in transit lounge more than 5 hours. Okay, just imagine a long transit lounge. That's just doing the same thing. It's like a prison in samsara. These are very true things. I hope you all can one day, study these things and put your life in such a way that you will, not face. So this is very important. I hope I have touched that. Do you want to know about rebirth and how you're born and how you won't be born? Would you like to know that? Yes, okay. Already putting how to stop rebirth, right? I've been touching this topic, but this is normally a very deep thing, but I have been sharing it in now these discourses because some idea of it, and then you can have a more broader idea, which more target towards a more broader idea and more realistic. You're going to face death and prepare yourself. Of course, you must get this from a monk when you're meeting a monk, because he has time, he has studied this whole mechanism of life. So I will tell you one thing. Normally, are you familiar with we have a body and mind. Okay, we call it consciousness. Now, normally in the Western ideology or sciences, or they are still researching about consciousness. They think consciousness is still part of a neuron function. So it is a separate thing completely. The Eastern philosophies already know this. The rishis in those days also had the idea clearly how consciousness arises due to past karma. Due to past karma. But Buddha explains type levels of karma and he explains the ultimate level of stopping karma completely. So he also wanted to stop this process of going on, uncertainty, this rebirth again and again. So what happened? What in this thing you must know at least there are 5. What we are made up of. Buddha explains the components of consciousness. Not as nobody has explained like that. Now we actually say we become unconscious, and when we become conscious, say somebody hit us and become unconscious. Okay, and then we are becoming conscious. How do you know we are becoming conscious? We can feel and perceive. Okay, so this is the way we know we are becoming conscious. So when we perceive as, oh, this is the one who hit me, what do? We react. Okay, react with what? Some fear. That reaction is called karma again. You're making karma in the mind. It's called sankara. Okay, somebody say did something good to you, and then you are unconscious. Like I have known that, like a boyfriend comes in after general anesthesia. That is after that's your whole. You become completely unconscious, right? It's general anesthesia, right? Not local. Okay. Yeah. So in that situation, what happens? Say I saw this actually. This the boyfriend comes. She can't. She's not. She can. But she immediately feel attracted. She say, "Who is this sweet boy? Who is this?" So how immediately when what she feels and perceives, that is part of consciousness. Consciousness cannot be explained without these factors. Without feeling, perception, in every consciousness has feeling, perception, and reaction. This reaction is called sankara. Okay, so when we experience something as pleasant, we react with greed. When we experience something as unpleasant, we react with aversion. When we experience something with neutral, if we are not enlightened and we are not aware of the impermanence or the temporary nature of that feeling, that is delusion. We are in a deluded state. So that's how this is called lobha, dvesha, moha, greed, hate, delusion. This is what is generating this karma. Very interesting. This is the cause of our body arising. How the body in the mother's womb arise from nowhere, or even test tube babies or whatever. You have to take from a mother or father that part. It can't be just some plastic cannot be created as a it's not possible. So this, sorry, my laugh is a little it goes into another world. Okay, I know some, don't freak out. Okay. So this is very important. How does it come? It comes due to past karma. And so it determines, because you need a body to get consciousness. And when consciousness is there, then you find you get feeling and perception. And that's how, if you're, in short, if you say, if you're given suffering, to get suffering for you, you will get that particular consciousness and that type of context, which give that kind of feelings. And then you react again, and then you feed again. So we are now trying to stop that reaction. Sometimes I am now getting people complaining about their husbands, wives, or relations. Now, I mean, their smile is coming. I don't know why. Okay, try to control it. Otherwise, Swami Maharaj will know about it, right? And about what is it? I don't want to. I feel a lot of love and this thing. I have given some advice, and about what, like this family and the work, all negatively. And sad and telling, how am I going to, and some relations have come and she's like trapped. That's how she has, I hope she'll not listen or anyway. But this is, I think, reality. So I had told them to meet me, because I have to explain. I can't just, you're asking my prayers and in the Himalayas, don't forget me and all that. These are simple things. she must know that there is karma. She has to go. She doesn't get something which she does not deserve, not only she or anybody. Me also, I was stuck in the initial stages of my monk life. I was not in a best of places. My teacher was there, but my brothers or others around, they were really playing. But I was so strong by that time already as a upasaka. Before monk, I have trained to to do things what I don't like, to fulfill my duties. So my mind was able to maturely withstand any kind of what is this discomfort. But seeing that this is karma, also I must change my attitude, how I take it. So this happened as my initial stages. I felt like I felt I was like prison, because they were like some people were like in control. I don't want to say like this, but my teacher was there. So it was very nice to look at my mind and to change my way of looking at things, and not to blame anyone, to know if I'm blaming, it's my anger, and to clear and that made me to create heaven inside me. And then this also looks very simple. It was no problem. And if I can be very sensitive or perceptive, I could notice these same things were there in a different form before I became a monk. So they just follow you wherever you go. But now you're clearing it. You're clearing it by understanding that and blaming no one, and then creating that positive, what is this thought that you must think, oh, they are not doing this harm, they are only doing this. Like that, you create that positive, you can see that even those things will disappear very fast. Actually, this person has asked me to use some magic and chase these people around who is troubling or controlling or troubling. But luckily, I have told her how to chase those negative thoughts in her and then to come at peace. And this is very important. Otherwise, if you have that sort of, I don't know, way of thinking, and wherever you go, you will have this problem. If you have a compassionate and a very patient nature, and with knowledge you must get it, otherwise you can't. Internally, even slightly you feel discomfort, then it will be a vibration, it will be karma again, it will come back to you. So I'll tell about this rebirth and think how it stops. Okay, so I hope you all will understand about consciousness is there. We have, each one has a consciousness, like ear and now we take a slow motion, ear and an object. All right, when they come together, there is something says that something happen, which says something happen, that is immediately, that is initial consciousness. Then there is something of sensation goes, that is the feeling part of consciousness. And there's something that perceives it as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, that is the perception part of consciousness. And there's something that reacts when he says pleasant with greed, with unpleasant with hate, and when it's neutral with delusion. This reaction is called sankhara. Okay, so this is constantly happening in us. So these are all conditioned. Now, because of our craving and not unmindfulness, we are taking it as like me. We don't get an idea of me to the thin air. Okay, the idea of me comes mainly to the body and to consciousness in a subtle way. Consciousness is the main subtle thing. You can sometimes get the feeling body is not me, but for conscious, internally you get that feeling. Why? Because you are attached to feelings. That means you are attached to consciousness, craving it there. Then the idea of I comes. It's an idea. Say, for example, you have a leg, you're seated like this. Your leg become numb. Okay? If it becomes numb and you don't see it from your eyes, sometimes you get the feeling whether my leg is there, right? Soon when the numbness goes away, when the blood flows, the feeling comes, and then you get this sense of I. The I comes with these feelings. So this is very interesting. With the feeling only, with the attachment to feeling, the idea of I comes. Okay, do you get this point? How do you get it? You didn't expect I will ask you, right? Okay, I will tell again. The idea of I comes to the feelings. Okay, if you don't feel anything to the thin air, do you get an idea of I? Say for example, okay, we eat some food, it touches the tongue. When that feeling of taste comes, until it touches only, right? When that food finishes touching, what happens? That feeling goes away. Okay. So while that feeling is touching your tongue, you get that I am tasting the food, right? So for the feeling only, to the feeling only, we are getting the idea of I. Okay. But if there's no feeling whatsoever, do you get the idea of I? Can you get it? Yes, correct. No, yes. So with the feeling only, so all of us are normally getting very strongly. Now, for example, we get attached to somebody. Feeling and feeling creates attachment. Say we are attached to our children, but why are we? What? How do you picture them? We picture their body. That is them. But what happens? Their hair, that's them. But we cut their hair. What happens? Do you think, oh, what happened to you? When you go to the barber and the hair is put somewhere, so is it really this body what we are looking at as my son or child? Or so that's why we visualize one day if they die, their body is going to become like that. And when we practice like that, then we begin to lose that idea of I and attachment. Normally, this is not a pleasant thing. We are not looking normally that way. But these practices will help you to get mental peace and separate yourself unnecessary attachment, unnecessary obsession. And then you can perform duty. Not that you're going to be a monk or put on robes, but you can perform duty with mental peace. Suddenly, if a crisis comes, you're not lost. You can face these things and do what is best to be done without that unnecessary confusion, because you're not strong enough. So I will talk about this, how the rebirth stops. Okay. So now some idea of consciousness. So each organ, according to Buddha, we have the organ and the object, and we need attention. Then three coming together makes consciousness arise. Consciousness to arise, it needs an object and the organ. They should be intact. In case the object is not there, the organ is okay, and there's no little reflection from within, this will not happen. So always an object and the organ is there. And the attention, manasikara, is called reflection. That's initially prepares or starts the consciousness to happen in our. So each one has, with the eye, you have eye consciousness, ear consciousness, separate. A sound striking the eye will not make you hear, will it? Or a form, if you can you see from your ears? No, they have their each individual domain. Now what happens when you accumulate? You have a lot of attachments in the material world. Okay, you create karma too much in the material world. When you're dying, normally it is said we get a last thought. Okay, last thought we get. So when we have been so attached to family or very attached, will we not remember at that time that we are leaving, and suddenly the thought will come regarding them? Do you think we'll get it or not like that? What do you think? We will get. If we have not trained our mind, we will get in that direction. Now, even to come to this particular, event, okay? Somebody would have told you about this event. And then what happened? It starts like that. And then you get the urge, oh, maybe I'll go there. Okay? So you don't come here if you don't have karma here. If you have not meditated in the past or have some kind of spiritual karma in the past, this you will not come. You are coming because there is some stored up karma. In this way, you have done these kind of things. You have listened, you have gone on this kind of path. This is not like a Michael Jackson, this thing, This is actually sometimes a little bitter, but it's not bitter for someone who has gone on that path. So, in the past, this life or another life, definitely you have inclination. Karma is there. So it makes you come, and then you take part in it. Same way, when you're dying, when you accumulate a certain type of karma, that brings you the last thought. And that last thought, what happens? Now, when you're dying, your last function will be the last breath, okay, physical function. When the last breath goes, normally, can the dying person watch what is happening to him the last moment, or will he have that get distracted by the last thought? What do you think? Hmm? Yes, yes, yes. What do you think? Sorry, first one is not multiple choice something. Okay, I will tell you, and it doesn't matter. The first option is not option. It is like, okay, the he can keep looking at the last breath going, or the other one is he's a very very special boy. I know he does a lot of. He has already done. He has written a book also. Hmm? So okay, this is the breath. He can look at the breath going last, or he'll be distracted by the thought, about his family or something. What would happen to a normal person? Yeah, yeah, distracted by the thought. Very good. Now you're going to write a book about this, right? Okay, you will. This is the secret of life, how the amoeba also comes. What is this amoeba? Not cells. What cells? So, sorry? No, immune system, right? In the immune system, all the microbes that are connected, right? It's very good. They also get created due to karma. Okay, there's so many. Animal world is more beings are there. They have a consciousness. They have a body. So what happened? Say, for example, so then he get distracted. All right. So in the Buddha's teaching, now because there is karma, now he might be born in nearby family. Okay, when you have a object, distraction means thought means it's an object. When there's an object, consciousness will arise or not arise. What do you think? Consciousness will arise. So when there's consciousness, there's name and form to come in, rise in a mother's womb. Now, for example, think there is another scenario where it's called a never returner. Never returner is a being, a saint, who have no karma in the sensual world. There's no karma. That means he has no desires in the sensual world. He has overcome. He has come to practice to such an extent. Then such a being, noble being, is distracted. Why is he called never returner? He's not completely going to be or liberated. Why? He goes somewhere, but he's not going to come here because he has no karma here. He's distracted by actually peaceful feeling to concentration. He's so attached to meditation. Okay, so that experience, he's still not overcome his desire. So what happens when he dies? Will he be able to look at his last breath, or will he be distracted? He Why? Because is he overcome? Of course, he will not have any distractions from the world, this world, five senses. But is he still not attached? Does he completely free from attachment? He's still attached to pleasant feelings, or so will he be distracted to that pleasant feeling or not at the moment of death? Maybe, but he will be. That's why it's called anagami, non-returner. Why? When he's distracted with that feeling, what will happen? That becomes an object for consciousness to rise. Okay, this is very deep, but I don't know why I'm sharing it in. This is normally given the retreat but I don't know. I'm trying to make you all familiar. If you one day want to, so what happened? That becomes object for consciousness, and consciousness arises. Now, when Arahant has no desire whatsoever, he is not distracted by anything material, worldly, or he is not distracted by any pleasant feeling. Then, will he be able to keep his attention to the last breath? He will be. So, when he is keeping his attention to the last breath, what happened? The causes for consciousness to arise, it needs an object. So, he doesn't take any object. Then, will consciousness arise or not? It will not arise. Okay, it's a simple reasoning, but it's this is very profound. I hope I am forgiven, to share this kind of thing in this. But anyway, I hope so. All these practices are finally to remove our desires at different levels. So one thing that we don't fall back down here, and the other thing that we get, we are having a target, we are having a direction to be liberated. Hmm? So, but I hope in the retreat, I don't think everybody can take part. There's another 5 day or retreat going on. So, so is this little bit clear? How rebirth will not take place? Hmm? This is a big subject. This is a final topic. One day, if you want to achieve this. So, anything anyone else want to ask? I would like to. Hmm? And okay, yes.
When I'm asking a question, I feel unsure. I don't feel as confident to ask it. How can I get over that
Fear or the
feeling?
thing.
Or
But now you asked very well the question. Isn't it?
school,
At school and all that, okay. It doesn't matter. How old are you now? How? 2030. Okay. It will go away. No, this is only this particular period. You can even chant Itipiso Gatava morning 12 times and evening 12 times. You know Itipiso, right? Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddha. You see what will happen. Okay? You will get something. Actually, if you picture I have told them who are having exams, problems, or anxiety, that just to picture the Buddha like standing in front or side, that imagination will also help, because he is a master of fearlessness, and it will look like an imagination, but it has a power when you can focus or pay some attention like that. It creates that energy to keep the mind calm. Hmm? This is some things we use sometimes initially, like when you're very tired, no food, or I'm going like, the jungle, or, there are some times I have done that. And then suddenly you get that energy, such a force. There is such a force. So sometimes you can't think much and all that. So this you will be able to, you must do this. You can do that. Okay. And if you can read a little bit, I don't know, here, in English, I would say Word of the Buddha by Gnanaloka Thero. This book, if you can get, it's about the main teachings of the Buddha. And hopefully, I hope you get the points of what I experienced with that when you're reading, that there will be some special kusal, special merits that you acquire. Even if you do so much peaceful meditation or devotion, you can't equal when you're reading, especially when you're reading the Dhamma. So Dhammapada, I hope you will take a spectrum of the spectrum of Buddhism and nutshell of Buddhism by Narada Thera. These books, I hope I'm planning to get them, because I think it's very relevant, especially to a Western audience. When they're coming, they want to know rebirth, and they have nicely explained, because even how these geniuses are there, how to believe karma, how to be rebirth, why, how do they get that geniusness? Hmm? From where do they get it? How to explain it? This is the only way you can explain. But I normally refer to like Mozart or Beethoven, or how do they get that ability? That can be only explained by previous lives that they have been doing these things. So because these are main things to know, just that we are born and we are going to die. If that is happening, why I should put robes also? Unnecessary. I would now be in a disco somewhere. I happen to be not as a monk, but as a young boy, with my relations, they took me, and by that time I was in the Dhamma. Then I observed the skeletons dancing. I think it was then I left to the pool and spent the night. And next time I thought I'm not going to come to this kind of places. Anything else you all want to know? Yes.
Who influenced you the most throughout your life to
for becoming a monk?
You see the picture here? Yeah. He was a nightmare for me because I had so much admiration to him, and I was like his first assistant. Assistant means he was a loner, he would not allow anyone to look after him. And there are times that when you're getting old, I saw him and like he was weak, and then I used to go and tell him, Bante, we call Bante, right? Bante, I used to call him not Bante, I used to call him Venerable Sir. He was a German monk. So I used to tell, can I wash your robes or can I do something? He would say, this body does not belong to me. Why should I give it to somebody else? When he says that, he means it. He means it. And you can really feel that, that I am worried because I am only thinking that this body is him. And like that, he used to wait. And finally, one day he collapsed. He was like unconscious. And then I was not a monk, I was like a lay person. So he had such a majestic this thing, no one wanted to touch him. All the monks were there in the cafeteria, it happened, the Dhanashala. And he was like this, like no responding. So they called me suddenly, Shanaka, those days my name, Shanaka. Then I quickly came, and then I put I saw him, and for me he was personal. I want him, like he will not be breathing like that. So I touched him, I put him, I think the first time I touched him like that, and put him straight or flat. And then I could see, he was glowing. His hands went like this, but still unconscious. And after a few minutes, I took his key and I went to the kuti and brought some medicine I have already given. I knew he was having diarrhea. He was getting weak day by day. But he would never complain nor never show that to anyone. He would just inspire and send them. Don't care about it. So to the point where he was now going to collapse. And then that day, I never forget, then he became conscious. Soon as he opened his eyes, he came with this verse, I never forget. Vaya Dhamma Sankara, Upadhavaya Dhammino, Upajitva Niruchanti, Ekam Rupa Samosako. Vaya Dhamma Sankara means, like all conditioned phenomena, it's Buddha what he said, Buddha's one of the words, that all conditioned things are bound to finish or bound to come to an end. All conditioned experiences. Vaya Dhamma Sankara, like our talk here, everything. It has a beginning and end, everything, even in small ways and in big ways. Vaya Dhamma Sankara, Upadhavaya Dhammino, they rise to pass away. Upadhavaya Dhammino, Upajitva Niruchanti, Ekam Rupa Samosako. Upajitva Niruchanti, it's whatever risen, if they come to complete stillness, this is the highest peace. So, like few words, like he was in that awareness, and then like when he came to consciousness, he told this, and he saw me also and the other monks. He said, lift this foul body, impure body. And that's the time I, lifted him. This was that from that time I was starting to look after him. Look after means attending. And that day was my happiest and the saddest day. Happiest is because I was able to look after him. The saddest to see even such a giant like a being, so disciplined, so trained in the mind, that he has to face this decay process, this unstable process. So then I was his assistant. So later on, I saw many things in his life, and slowly he was encouraging me to be a monk. He won't say to be a monk like that. What he would say is how good it is when you ordain. It will be good for everybody, like this, like that. He would, in his blessing time, he should tell, like he hint at it. So what he meant was to be a monk. It went on for 3 years like that. So, because I want to be a monk initially also, but suddenly I didn't want to. You know why? Because when I was in the monasteries, in the temples, or in the forest also, my teacher was inspiring. Others I saw, they were not practicing much. So I felt same thing will happen to me. So then my thought went away, I was so attached to the practice. I want to practice, keep on practicing. So that idea went from me. Then my teacher started to give me this pressure. It was a pressure for me because I would do anything for him. And for me now to do this was a bit. So I used to go to Himalayas and come back, thinking he might forget. This old master will forget. And when he sees me, suddenly he would, with the blessings, he would tell how nice when you ordained like this. To went for 3 years. And finally, one day I told him, Bante, not Bante, Venerable Sir, I can't become a monk because monks are deteriorating, the sasana is deteriorating, the temples are deteriorating. And then he looked at me and said, your consciousness is deteriorating. This is true. So then he said, no, you enter the Sangha. So after that, after 3 years, almost 3 years, he was the main one, yes. He was the main influencer. Hmm? He never went by vehicle, he used to walk. And daily he used to go Pindapath. He was a living example. No public, no meeting anyone, nothing like that. To go far away, just his presence and allowing people to giving some dana. And he's the one who guided me also the suttas, how to make that your teacher, not anyone else teaching. To make Buddha's original word for the Kamatahana. And my initial journey to stay with him was a very, very, very remarkable one. Means like it changed my life. Where I first stayed 2 weeks with him residentially. And I had a lot of obstacles. If I just succumbed to those obstacles, today I won't be seated here. And that's the time he gave me that special sequence of reading the suttas, which I have given to who have come to the retreat. That is my normal, because that actually, I see that can make you arahant or attain the path. So some things happen to us also. I can't say like this anything, but like when we're reading like that in the solitude, there's no lights. It's like only oil lamp and very simple life. Okay, and there's a lagoon also there in Island Hermitage those days. Now they have put lights and everything. So only outside light, but no inner light. This is the modern day things what's happening. So anyway, then that time even the lagoon we don't look. Now sometimes I explain, because that is also sensual according to our practice. We reduce our sensual things, then we go inward, then we can open up that special wisdom eye. The frontal cortex is the main thing that has analyzing memory and all this, this, especially in the frontal cortex only, there is a special eye, wisdom eye. So that to open that only, we are going through the reading of the original Buddha's teaching. And that one, when you are reading, that special eye gets slowly massaged. That way of thinking begins to sink into you. So there's a process for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks I stayed with him, and I started going through it with the meditation. It's not like some book reading. It is a meditation object. This is how I'm specially trying to teach them. I mean, because normally we have read, there are a lot of scholars in the books who have read these things, but they miss this point of making it a meditation object. This was how it happened originally in the Buddha's time. Now it has become, because of our corrupt mind and our very because for this you need a clear mind. It is said that the mind, when it is full of, say, raga, desires, aversion and drowsiness, when it's not bright, you can't see, you can't have that wisdom. So how normally it is compared to a water which is full of color, you put dye. When you have a lot of sensuality, you can't concentrate. If you're attached to children, surroundings, and now with phones and all that, when you entertain yourself, your mind is not focused. So then also you don't see truth. Like in the water, when you have dyes, you don't see your reflection. If the dye is not there, if you have clear water, you can see your reflection. So same way, if you have a boiling water, also you can't see your reflection. So what is boiling water is compared to? It is anger, aversion, irritation. And then when you have sleepiness, drowsiness, like that, there are 5. So they are normally connected with our reptilian brain. How when it's functioning, we don't have that pure wisdom. Cannot happen. So this reading has this thing. So we used to practice like that. And then the opposite of this 5 is They are called 5 indriyas: faith, mindfulness, samadhi, where you are concentrating, wisdom, and virya, means effort, not laziness. So these are the 5 opposite of these 5. Normally, these are the 5 factors that will help you to become enlightened. So out of these 5, the main one is wisdom. And the wisdom is not what I am talking or someone explaining. It is directly what the Buddha, how he is explaining. So that's why we are touching those very books. And that time I did those things and not even look at. Then we had some experiences where I immediately felt that this was the old Buddha. Now the Buddhism we are having is with that weak mind, deteriorated mind. We have a lot of analyzing this, that, but it's not experiential. And people who are doing that, if you closely associate, they also have doubt about Nibbana. They are just doing something just for the sake of doing. I got to know this. Some of them, I don't want to point any doctrine. How to say this? Okay, I will just touch this, like even Abhidhamma or even Atwa Tika, the explanations from the later time of the Buddha, some who explain the suttas. Now, some of them, they have this idea that liberation, they have made it to certain times. Like Buddha, after Buddha passed away, first 1,000 years is the time of this thing. Like that, they have put like this. So now is a time that you can't, like that, according to that calculation. My God, what a sin. And Buddha, what he says originally, the world will not be world will not be empty of arahants as long as they are striving. Who are practicing according to what he says, there can be arahants also now. We have not come to a point where now like we are living like zombies or like microbes. No, we can think, we can analyze, we can control ourselves. This is not the time yet. We can have a golden period where we can liberate ourselves. So this is a very big thing. That's why sometimes, anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it. But I would say why we don't read the original sutras. Why we don't first study that and practice that, then go to something else. We are trying to find Nibbana through words, or it can never be. It can be only done by realizing. So we must focus on really realizing it. So have these books beside your bedroom, and according to those beings who gave me this encouragement, they told me how so much merit kusal is accumulated, not with so much samadhi or even any pujas or bodhi pujas, dhanas, or even having Buddhaguna meditation or whatever. They didn't see that it's anything growing very much. But soon as I started reading, they told 80%, 120%. So this I am telling you because I hope you all will be encouraged, and just keep it beside you. And like Angulimala, if you have some big problem, if you can read. But I know this. In the application form, I have made some, things that sometimes, but I have told, even you are not meeting the questions, you can, very mere fact, you can come physically, you are eligible. But you can see who have come with those things which are not fulfilled in this thing, they can't concentrate. I put this according to what Buddha has told those days to ordain. Because how to recruit, when there will be a time where monks can't, see the people, what is their karma, what is their nature, then he gave guidelines like to be free from loans, okay, but manageable loan, okay. Otherwise, all of you will be collapsing now, okay. Because it has to become manageable, then your concentration power will increase. Parents' blessings. If you disturb your parents, no way, no way, no way. This will all ruin your whole thing. This, I know many things about this. And even your employers or, those people, you should have good relationship with them or good feelings. How they treat you doesn't matter. And this way you can, you are going to gain that. And you must just not run away from them and then feel something, you're hiding from something, then also you can't concentrate. Like that. And if you have karma diseases also, you can't concentrate. So I have noticed, very interesting for me also, I have already known and put this this thing, who have come, I have told them just even come, because this is a great sacrifice, great yaga or great puja is going on. When the meditators are doing that, in the olden times, they had different type of, like fire worship, and kings used to get involved, or hundreds of thousands of monks get together one place and giving dana. This can't be equal. These people who are doing the meditation to attain nibbana, that area itself is so sacred. It creates a, I mean, I also have been very, this thing to see, even when they are in their rooms, when I come to the hall, the vibrations are so live. Because the great deed is done. The Buddha's teaching is been now actually been practiced, and it creates a great atmosphere. And the eyes of unseen divine beings are falling to that place. So I had told them just to come, but they said, Swami, once I couldn't concentrate. I can understand, because they're having a terrible, difficult karma this time. But even the mere fact they came and they are in touch in that sacred space, they are going to remove that karma very fast. So for that, who can't do that, I have told about with the Bodhi tree and all that. I don't know, if you like, I might explain that also. So anyone else want to ask something? Which one is that? It looked like, okay, you're suddenly grown, I thought. Okay, Putta. They have the same shape, right? Okay, and the same shirt also today. Yes.
How do you uphold morality in your daily life?
Uphold morality. I told you one way that when you become immoral, one thing what will happen to you, you become less handsome, right? And then you become you become more ugly. So that's one way. You can't think, oh, it'll also create inner agitation. So how to overcome it? You must make a promise, or have daily. You must be in contact with, if you do something wrong, Buddha is like a thing. Like, I have one story I remember. Once, I also go walking, and I stay night time sometimes in monasteries in Sri Lanka. So as a wandering monk, when I go like that, in Hikkadua, Hikkadua in Sri Lanka, no? Okay. Near the beach, this monastery I came, and then they gave me a room and all that. And the monk said, this area, there are missionaries. So we have a lot of problem with them. They are making, churches and bringing the Sri Lankan people into Christianity like that. So he said, then he looked at me and said, Swamin Vansa, this thing happened to me. There's one church where we got all the young people together, and I also went, and we hid the priest and we chased them away. So then he said, Swami Master, after I did that, now we have a court case, or we have we have to go there. After that, for 7 days, I couldn't worship the Buddha. That means they do normally puja a little bit. Even monks in the temple, they have a routine kind of practices. So he couldn't face the statue, not a statue. That it works with your conscience. I think he's a very good monk also. I think, not everybody feels that way. So that's very interesting. You can't face, your conscience will be killing you. So that is the one main thing. So you should not try to do anything against your conscience and a moral thing. And other thing is, immoral thing means something which increases your greed more, hate more. So when you increase such a thing, what will happen? If you continuously do it, in case, it will increase your suffering. It will increase your suffering. So from young age, especially truth, my mother was very conscious about it, for any reason not to lie. That's out of the 5 precepts, that's one of the main. And other one is now, Sura mere majjapama dattana vera manisikapa. That means not to take things that are intoxicating. What is the thing that is intoxicating today? Is it wine? What does it fall? Under what does you can make things that we have today? It's the phone, games, or what? in case this, you will be very conscious of it. Or even looking at anything else that are, taking you there, making you keep on looking. Okay. Yeah, today it's like that because dopamine, when you're drinking, what happens? Dopamine is rushing. That's why they become alcoholic and, there's so much addiction in it. This is also addiction. And I heard games, it has equal to heroin. And there's suicide cases and all that. So we have to be very careful because why? We invite unwholesome beings. And if our destiny is weak, that will work on us. And then something drastic, tragic can happen. What the? Here the දෙකක් වගේ. What you like here? Wait, this will be like a meditation with Swami Vasan. Though my voice is going on, some energy is also going on. මොකද මාත් පැදයක් වේද? ගිහලාද? ඉවරයිද? පව් මහත්තයා ඉතින් මේවා arrange කරලා නේද? ඌ වැඩක් කරනවා. ගොඩාක් පිං මහත්තයාට මම කවදත් කියනවා ඒක කියන්න ඕනේ කට්ටියට. Anything you all want to ask? All of you are enlightened now?
That's why sometimes all of us coming up to that spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, because you will see us frequently because
No, doesn't matter. Good. You should not lose this opportunity. If it's helping you to control your mind, I really think it's good. Like I also went the last period, Sumangala Handro, Kolonare Sumangala Handro, was having programs and it was very, very nice, energetic. So I used to visit Dolukane Handro also. They were all, that was happening same time. Because after a long time, the robe was getting, it was very nice. Somahandra, all three were doing this, that one period. It helped me a lot also. I used to go from program to program. Because whatever give positive energy, you must get that. And because then you will break your karma quickly. More than meditating alone somewhere going, you have that I'm not saying I'm going to be that effective, but anyway, but that as a catalyst force just to have a connection with a living thing. Chaityas are there, but more powerful is a living thing.
and then imagine.
Yeah, because today nobody is doing it. Yeah, I look something. I know, unfortunately. Today it has come to that state of things, unfortunately. Anyone wants to? Yes?
Oh, my question I wanted to ask, not something that occurred to me today, but something I had for some time. Now in Buddhism, it is always emphasized the importance of moment, etc. Now, this is just a mere observation I made. One of the things that stop us living in the present moment is our memory. Okay, so for example, if someone dies in front of me, if it is my neighbor, I won't feel the same thing. Right? So what makes the difference is the memory I have.
And the attachment you have.
The question I have is now also referring to the frontal cortex, etc. during your service, which is great. The question I have is, again, my observation, I could be very well wrong. In Buddhism or in the Dhamma, it has not been emphasized, or it has not been discussed sufficiently, the role played by someone's memory in keeping him away from living in the present moment. Am I understanding wrong, or I'm trying to take this?
No, the memory thing, people can't relate it normally, but it is coming in we call it now, we have 6 sense organs. It is happening in the Manodwara. It's called the mind door. The mind door, it is a kind of it is we have, each organ has its own individual consciousness arising condition. So the mind, it gets registered or stored. We can't say how, because the Buddha is very specific, very clear about it. Like it's not like so the memory part is coming in the thinking, or the sankara comes in a form of sankara. So it is a part of the manodwara that has that function is happening. That memory, how it works with the mind consciousness. So your question exactly, repeat please.
No, not clearly. So maybe I'm not clear enough. So think like, for example,
Can you come here? I'm getting old. I'm old now. I think I had to see you also, then I could understand.
So the question is, for example, in Buddhism, there is enough emphasis on teaching us that get rid of your aversion, get rid of your greed, things like that. But my understanding is that it has not emphasized enough that we should also try to get rid of our memories. For example, like
Okay. Let me tell you. The memory comes out of, now, for example, when you go to a silent retreat, for example, when you empty yourself, when you're living in a, like, no impressions are coming, suddenly very specific thoughts start to come, memories actually. And from that you can know normally what are the main karmas you have done. Mainly it comes with raga, sensuality, and aversion. So these are the things that, because they get an opportunity to come up. So normally, when you're staying like that on a meditation, that's a cleansing process of your memory. Memory is the thing that will bring out the last moment. Now, for example, if you don't clear it now like that, with that kind of practices, what will happen is that will dominate you at the moment of death, and that without your control, your destiny, your next journey is taking place. Is that clear, that one? So to clear, there's a process of that. What comes out like that, memory, memory gets cleared also. Memory is the stored up karma. You get that point?
Yeah.
Because that's a very important point, because that's why we do the meditation, because we get especially we never think we had these thoughts. Suddenly this comes up, and especially in solitude. So then we are replacing it by contemplation and all these things. Then they're subdued, they go away. This is latent in us. So then that way it gets clear. So we know that we did physically this kind of karma, which is now we can see how it's severe. I mean, I can tell it from my own experiences also. So people who don't do this sort of practices, they'll be just accumulating so much, because there's not enough things they are doing to clear their memory and purify their memory, and that is the accumulated karma. Okay. It will get clear, don't worry. Anyone else? Something else? You came at 7:30, 7:45. Yeah, now it's almost coming to time. Anyone else want to ask something? Okay. I think I have covered some of the things that I want to cover. Okay, daily routine. I hope you start daily routine in the morning, and then like you brush your teeth or wash your face, make sure you get that peacefulness. It will make a big difference. With compassion meditation, little bit anapanasati, get a focus. Okay, and then you do these things. You would start the day, and then try to think, how am I going to keep the mind at the moment? Just try to notice what you're experiencing immediately, what you're seeing, and then you can see, even look at your own body, how it's standing and is walking, and that will make also a very big difference. And maybe you will plan what you have to do just for few milliseconds. You come back to that practice, and then when you're driving, so this repeatedly doing, you'll find your awareness and your peace of mind will start to grow. Your anxiety will go away. And always remind everything which has already happened is finished, gone. Remind that. Atitam pahinanta. Future has not come. Pachuppanne cha dhammesu tatatata vipassati. What you're seeing immediately, you pay attention to that. This is well known. If you try that, you'll be successful, more successful. But you have to consciously train that. And also check the whole day, what are the things that I'm addicted to, what I'm distracted with. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to remove it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And the phone also, if you be conscious, you'll find that your concentration power will start to grow. And even processed food, I heard, is affecting. So you must try to eat, veggies more, and other, like balanced diet. But there's also another thing I talk about, fasting for survival. If in YouTube, you can check that. Fasting for survival by one of the cardiologists. They talk about ketone diet and all that. No, these are very good, I think, because we have to have a healthy body. Practice this to let go of the body to get that wisdom. We must have a healthy body also. So, and 12-hour fasting, the benefit of fasting. And the other one I will recommend you all. I don't know, little elder, young people and everybody. This thing I saw when I happened to look at in India. In fact, I had this in one occasion. This one program called Grim Hustler, the YouTube. Okay, but I hope he gives very nice life coaching like points. He's very. I think that way he strikes your mind. So this is a very important. What I talk about, when you get up, you use the phone. When you sleep, these things, our normal lifestyle. Many nice. He represents like a mafia, like Russian mafia with tattoos and everything. But he gives a very good message, and he uses a very bad word in the end. But don't worry, you might hear many, but the other content is very good. And go through even internet dopamine detox. Under that you'll find many things that will help you. And doom scrolling, that also go through that. That will also help you all. But for work purpose, you have to use it. You have to use, but minimize it and make sure your focus power is increasing and your peacefulness will increase. And day by day, that is your real yardstick of that you have improved, developed in life. No other thing with your degree, all that, and those things you need for life living. But about life, if you don't know, you're zero. Zero means you don't know, you're confused about life, your realities of life, you can't handle it, you can't, and that's not good. That's from knowledge, from being rich in wisdom, rich in the teachings of the ancient masters, and experiencing it also, that will give you your life will be complete. I don't regret. I would have been actually I was to go to Princeton. I liked Einstein too much. There's another story how I came to the Dhamma. Initial experience at the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like theory of relativity and all that. I was very interested in that. That will be a long story. We don't have time. But anyway, sometimes I gave up all that. I didn't want to do any of that. When I had certain experience in the Dhamma, I saw how empty and like at the age of 18, this strong experience happened. Then only I really want to be a monk also, I told my father. And then I didn't do any worldly work after that properly. Just did it to fulfill my father, like then went to college and just didn't complete the degree, but just to make him happy. I just did that. And then did a job also for 2 years as an auditor. That also I just did meditation there. And then others did the work and I took less responsibility. Now when I look back, do I regret all that? Do I look like someone who regrets that? No. I was just thinking one time, if I did those things well and didn't do this, definitely I would be regretting. I would be thinking something not there, not fulfilled. Is this point clear? I hope I'm picturing all are going to be monks. No need. You can experience the peace of monk. You don't need to do this. You can master those techniques, those doctrine, the teachings, and then you can experience that while you're here. That can happen. You take the books, even the working places, you must do that. Read it, then your karma will get slowly reduced. I suggest Word of the Buddha and Bhikkhu Bodhi's, Samyutta Nikaya and Middle and Discourses. Get those books. And as I told you, like those rishis, when you're reading that, your karma, your will start to get a special wisdom, and try to apply it to yourself. And in case while the retreats are going on, if you can join, maybe you get some idea. Join means you can even come from outside if there's no room. And if you want to stay somewhere, and 3 o'clock because that is a very comprehensive, I would call it a karma operation. I have been telling this long years I want to do it. So now finally I'm able to do it, because this is all comprehensive way to clear your destiny, reset your destiny. And because from 3 to 6, there is like, I don't only do this, I also bring in cosmic energy and the Buddha's that part for people to clear their obstacles in their life. And whatever divine hand that can touch you, that also would something could happen. And then throughout the other time, it is to do with reading and mastering that way of contemplation. It's called Yoniso Manasikara, specific with the Satitam Bojjanga, Dhamma Vijaya Bojjanga. How there's only one. That special Satitam Bojjanga, Dhamma Vijaya Bojjanga, to do with the Buddha's Dhamma, Buddha's words. And then to how to apply it to yourself. Then I am not teaching, you'll be reading, and something will start to happen in your brain. Something, it's like 1,000 techniques, 1,000 gems. So I believe 1 or 2 gems you will pick up. That's how it is done. So even if you don't understand a single thing, I know that kusal will be, or the skillfulness will be so much that you will gather some positive, tremendous energy. This will happen, like those people in Himalayas, not Himalayas, these yogis, they saw how when I read and came, that my meditation has picked up a lot. Some are telling even now when they are reading, so very different. There's a very different part of the brain being exercised. Today also I am very happy, I'm very glad. Actually, I can close my eyes now. Not like this, You know what I mean? Okay. Anybody else want to know something? They are almost ending. Don't worry, some would have come with, they're still having difficulties, they're not hearing what I'm saying. Their pains are more stronger than, don't worry, in the end I will. So, anybody else? So, I hope I have shared some things. No questions, is it? Everything done, huh? Okay. Where do you all stay? Is it a near monastery or where the Ammala and you? It's a manuary in the a new place. Okay. I saw it's not a temple. Okay. Okay, right. Doesn't matter. Very good. It's your destiny, and I hope you can bring in the sutta reading. Do you do that? Sorry. With but as I told you, to get that focus power and slowly going to the books, that will create the Yoniso Manasikara from the words, especially Skanda Vagga Salayatana Vagga, the Samyutta Nikaya. Yes. Sorry? And Word of the Buddha, you can start with that, and that has like a handy book, Buddha Vachane. But we have a Sinhalese one, but it's old print. But Word of the Buddha, that gives a structure. This is good now. They have all these things, like some want to maybe become a Buddha, some want to, for all this will help you. Because why? You are accumulating so much kusal. Letting go, practice. This is a time in Buddha's sasana is there that you can accumulate so much merit. And I believe, Gatikara Jyotipala, Buddha's, that time, Gatikara was here to look after his parents, but Jyotipala was the Bodhisattva. When he got to know the Kashyapa Buddharajan Vahanse thing, he joined that. And what did he? He would have also practiced Sila Samadhi Panya, the path to, and he accumulated paramita to that. So I believe not to put any names or labels, even Arhant or Sotapan or nothing. Just the practice if you are doing, it will clear it will accumulate your future this thing, whatever thing you want to do. Otherwise, it will be only a wish, no merits. One will not get even a human birth. Sorry, don't think I'm talking about this now. Okay, I'm just going on another topic. Okay, otherwise, otherwise you think that this I suddenly. So this is very important that you all just your anger, greed is decreasing means you are accumulating so much positive energy, and that will make you be anybody. Those days in Buddhagaya, like when I'm in Buddhagaya practicing, there's an all-night practice also. Kingsborough, no? Kingsborough, that will be tomorrow also. There is like a retreat at that place. Yeah, that will be quite nice. But all night I'll be first time doing. First time I did it we did here in the retreat. And now this all night is a very different thing. It's a meditation, but a healing meditation also. And on a specific times and days I do this. So now it's been done at Kingsborough, I think. So I hope I can do this to give that energy. So we did one in the retreat. The time came, and another one we did also because they also want to do it in what is that place? Adelaide. Yeah, Adelaide. Serotonin and Adelaide. These words are a little bit tongue twisting for managed to. Okay, so yeah, that will be this thing. In Sri Lanka, so I'm planning after the programs to go into a night Ramakrishna we were having. So I hope crowds they will get that healing energy. Leave alone all this thing. At least what gift I can give is that some mystical this thing that their destiny will be touched by some way, so that the root cause of their difficulties or whatever that will be removed. And I believe now there are, just imagine Sakkat, king of gods. You have heard about one story where he was losing his life. He was going to go away from that existence. And then he went and met the Buddha. He heard the Dhamma discourse. What happened to him? He became a stream entrant. Stream entrant means he glimpsed Nibbana, and then that merit. And how does it happen? He, like what we are reading in the books, those are the very things that are recorded, which happen to those particular deities or monks or lay people. Those same things, when they had that experience, how powerful the merit, he got his back, his existence, and he got his wealth and all his other glory, he got it back. So if you are losing even materially everything, this is not only for Nibbana, remember that. If you fast, but it's difficult to concentrate when you have a lot of problems. Sakka would have had a special this thing. So that can happen. But at least when you're trying, you're going to get some merits. And that is also going to remove more than any other puja. Remember these things. Because we don't know the way how it works, but when we study deeply, we know that the reflection, analyzing and practicing, that can burn your karma very faster than any other thing. Second best will be, okay, you can do something. Good. And for people who have very unsolvable problems, also I give you some remedy. Okay. Who's troubling you all? I told some people, like the Brahma Murta time, early morning, time from 3 to 6, there is this, it's called Brahma Murta, means it's like a portal opens up in nature, where you can come in contact with more the cosmic energy and the cosmic divine hands. So that is a time normally yogis, they make use to practice and they can progress also faster. So that time, 3:20 to 3:40. It's not easy. I don't know. I don't know where any Bo tree and Bodhi tree here. But Berik, I got to know. Berik kola. Pulon ko ada hunde pandra. Eho ada mat. මොකද්ද? ගිලා තිබ්බද? යන්න පුළුවන් නේ. Yeah, some have gone. The Bodhi tree, because it has a specific thing, we can use also Dhahatun Vansi or a Buddha Rupa also, but Bodhi tree, it has a more, it is representing Buddha's body in a way. Because there's no object in the world which receives the worship of a Buddha. It's gratitude, it's like it's a special object. And then also, you have to think of these things. You can't just think I'm going to a tree. You have to recall and reflect like that. And the Bodhi tree, it's like you must go and talk to, you must talk and you must think Buddha's parami, his noble qualities as different births. These are still working in this universe. It is not just some incident. It is working in the invisible world. This force, this his truth, his power he kept on this planet with his compassion and his wisdom, it is still operating. You must reflect like this. And Gautam Buddha, Sasana, as long as this thing name is there, this is still these blessings, his compassion is mystically working. Though he is physically not there. And this way you must reflect, and especially his feet had 2 marks. He had actually 32 marks, but he has one specific mark called Sankha and Chakra. What is this? Wheel mark and the conch shell. So the mighty being who brought this this thing in his body also, that he was destined to do this for the world, to be the person who is going to remove the suffering of the world. You must recall these things and think whatever hidden. Now, I'm telling to don't go for this if you have a cold or a cough or some fever or something. No, it is there for something where you're gone to all doctors, you're done all things, and you're really blocked. You don't know any other hope. Then you can do this. Then you, because I have experienced this, and I'm telling because it will have some effect. And what you have to do is you must think if there's any hidden karma in your life, in previous life, that from this worship and this placing it, recalling, and all the good things I've done up till now, that anything that is hidden, please, you are the master. You must talk to the Buddha. Buddha was the master to resolve our karma. So you are the master of the 3 worlds, and I place it at your golden feet or lotus feet. This little bit you must recall like that. Okay. This if you do, just do it at least 3 days continuously, and then try to do as much as possible until you get a solution. Okay. And that is one thing. And another one is, in case you can't go or for some reason, even tonight after 9 o'clock, when it passes, already now 9 past, you can recite Ratana Sutta and Karnimetta Sutta. Okay, this is another way of tapping that particular energy, unseen energy. It is also to recall that when you are chanting, you are creating a certain sound vibration which is equal to the Buddha time when he was saying. Okay, then it creates that particular form in the air, and it is also something very similar to Buddha's body in a way. You have to think like that and then place your whatever difficulty you are having. Okay, sleep. So this is to be done continuously until you get some resolution for your thing. It will have some effect. Okay, I've given you small tips how to do this, and best thing is someone told me they are also reading the book. If you can do that, that's the best. It will break your karma quickly. Reading the Buddha's words, then you're really like, that's the closest you can get to the Buddha that way. I think we are going to now wind up. Any last question anyone want to ask? No? Now it's like, okay. I wish you all the good luck and strength. And I could see some of you all already, you're getting some kind of release from certain things. And you will develop your memory power. Another one is for younger people. I also tell about NoFap, NoFapp in the YouTube. You must go through that, especially from 14 onwards, 15 onwards. These are good to know. 14 onwards, 15 onwards. This is the main age, 16, 17. The ancient time is called Kumara Brahmacharya. Unfortunately, this is not there today in the modern times. Kumara Brahmacharya, this was known because the brain power was well known, related with our abstinence or celibacy. But this is an absolute taboo in the southern, in the international schools. When I was this thing, due to regarding shyness, I escaped physically. All these foreign students from all other countries, this was like a must, we must. So I don't know, something protected me, though I did sports and everything. But regarding this matter, some shyness was there. And one time I never forget. Of course, I had a liking. I remember one girl, she was called Charlotte. And to also look at her from far away, this age. And then, but I was so, this thing conscious, so shy actually, to approach. And one day, after 1 year, 2 years, in that college, one other girl came and told me, Shanaka, in something they were telling me, don't you want to enjoy life? That's how they asked me. Because they thought that they saw that I was avoiding this, though I was doing every other thing. Then I told them suddenly, until I know the world, I will not play with it. Now that time I don't know any teaching, Dhamma, Nirvana, nothing. But in my conscious, I had an idea, there is some state where I can know everything about this world. And one day I will come to know that. I hope I will. I was thinking I'm going to come to know that. And after that, I can do anything. I can maybe do any kind of other. But until then, you don't try to play all with all this and maybe regret later. So one important thing for young people and even for older people who have not known this. So this no fap, it's a big movement in the foreign countries. They are doing it, knowing the benefit and all that. So unfortunately, there are no single video in the Sinhalese this thing. YouTube, you can check no fap, NOFAPP. This will help you all. I don't think any monk will tell you all this. Remember this. Please take these points. If it's not happening, it's okay. These habits, bad habits we get formed, and that's going to make you, really go down. It doesn't mean you do a sin. The very fact that you're, what is this, activating of this thing, your desires inside you, you're creating the potential for sin. And that is Buddha's sin actually. Physically done or verbally done. Like even criminals, like serial criminals and all that, they have been watching all these, some negative things, I don't want to name exactly, it's going to be a little obscene. So they have been, these things, then the spirits also enter, the negative energies, and then driven by that, they don't know what they do. Later for years they go on, and they say later on, when they are going to be death sentence and all that, I was addicted to this, I was addicted to, I don't want you, I hope you all will guess what I'm saying, addicted to watching or looking. And so these are very important. This trip I'm not talking much about these things, but I hope it might help some people. These are the immediate things to remove. 3 days, 1 week, like that. Get knowledge about it. The other one is regarding the phone, how you handle it, and start a routine practice daily where you have some rituals and start the day with that freshness, with metta bhavana, little chanting, focusing on the Buddha. Then remember where the mistakes you are doing during the day, in which places you get angry or get distracted, that you learn to be more cautious, that day by day you see something will happen. Did I answer your questions? You wanted to know, then you get mental peace and you can handle any stress and tension. You'll be able to do things much better because you have, that there's something to be harnessed. Whether it's something to you pay and all that, you have to run behind to earn the money, all that you can do with that strength. You have Buddha near you. Just on your own like that, you're going to suffer a lot, that you won't do. I feel all who have come here have some, and try to get those books, Edgar Cayce, Many Mansions, try to get those books, Word of the Buddha, Samyutta Nikaya, who are more interested. Keep them beside your bed, read it, take to your office places or working places, then that office karma or working place, the karma will get reduced. If you just do the work only, then that you will have to come again to Australia and work there. Next slide. That is Shishya. Okay. Thirwan Sarnai. සුවපත් වේවා. දුකින් මිදෙත්වා. ධර්ම ශක්තියක් නැති වේවා. සියලු දෙනාටම සංසාර පෙරපින මත වේවා. වදාක්වත් දුකක් නැති උතුම් මඟ ඉස්මතු කරගන්න සංසාර පුණ්‍ය බලය මත වේවා. සම්බුදුන් වහන්සේගේ අනන්ත ගුණ බලය වහන්සේ පෙරම් පුරණ කාලෙදී ඇති කරපු ඒ උත්තම ශක්තිය සියලු දෙනාගේම දුක් කරදර දුර වෙන අවස්ථාවක් වෙනවා. සම්බුදුන් වහන්සේ මේ කරගත් සීල පිං දෙමාපියන්ට ඥාතීන්ට ඉෂ්ඨකාමී දේවතාවුන් වහන්සේලාට මේ අනුමෝදන් කරන්න. For protective devatas, සතරවරම් දෙවිවරුන්ට, සාම්පති බ්‍රහ්ම දිවි රාජන් වහන්සේට, ඍෂිවරුන්ට, මුනිවරුන්ට, සිද්ධල්ලට අනුමෝදන් මේ බුද්ධ ශාසනය ආරක්ෂා කරන ඉස්තු කෝටියක් සම්මක් දෘෂ්ටික දේවතාවුන් වහන්සේලාට අනුමෝදන් වෙනවා. මේක පරිස්සමෙන් අනාගත කාලෙට මිනිසුන්ට විමුක්තියක් ඇති කරගන්න ඒ වටපිටාව ඇති කරලා දෙන්න. ඒක ආරක්ෂා වෙන්න. ඒ සම්බුදුන් වහන්සේ ඒ පෙරම් පුරපු බල මහිමේ තාමත් විද්‍යමානයි. ඒ බුද්ධ ශක්තියට নমස්කාරය වෙත්වා. සම්බුදුන් වහන්සේ යතිවරයන් වහන්සේට নমස්කාරය වෙත්වා. සියලු දේවතාවුන් වහන්සේලා බ්‍රහ්මවරු, ඍෂිවරු, මුනිවරු, මේ පොළොව මහීකාන්තා, ආකාශය, සූර්යයට සියලු දේවතාවුන් වහන්සේලා මේ බුදු ශාසනය ආරක්ෂා කරන බ්‍රහ්මවරු, නාගයන්ට, නාගනාගීන්ට, ගන්ධර්වයන්ට, බහිරවරුන්ට, දේව සේනාධිපතිවරුන්ට ඒ සියලු දෙනාට අනුමෝදන් වෙන්න. මේ උතුම් පෙර සද්ධර්මයේ සම්බුදුන් වහන්සේගේ ප්‍රඥාව මේ සත්‍යයට සිසිලක් කළා, නිවීමක් කළා. ඒ උතුම් මාර්ගය අවදි කරලා ඇති කරගෙන එයාට මේ කාලෙදිම සතර අපායට නොවැටෙන්න නිවන් මඟ යන මඟ අවදි වෙන්න. දෙවියන් වහන්සේට සියලු තුමන් වහන්සේට নমස්කාරය. සුවපත් වේවා. සකල විශ්වයට නාගිම දුක් වෙන අවස්ථාවක්. සියලු පිය රාජකාරී කරන තැන්වල පහසුවක් නැතුව කටයුතු කරගන්න. ඉගෙන ගන්න කටයුතු කරන තැන්. ඒ ගැටලු වෙන්නේ නැති වෙන විදිහට පුණ්‍ය ශක්තිය මතු කරගන්න. ධර්මයේ රැකවරණය, දෙවිවරුන්ගේ බ්‍රහ්මවරුන්ගේ රැකවරණය, ත්‍රිකාල ජීවිතය ගත කරන්න. ධර්මයේ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එක මතු කරගන්න ලැබෙනවා. Anyone have any particular difficulty? They can slightly raise their hand. They feel they still it's Don't worry, you all can wait. කමක් නැහැ. පිටිපස්සේ දෙන්නේ කවුරුද නේද? පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න. කමන්නේ. ආවදන් පිළිකරන්න එපා. කමන්නේ කමන්නේ. මහත්තයට දෙන්න. කොමින්දෙක්. wait. It's okay. Wait. පුටුවක් දෙන්න ඉඳ ගන්නවා. පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න එපා. එන්දියන්ද? පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න හිටින්ද? වෙන්න පුතේ. මාසික සීපාදය භාගෙන් සංකේත චක්‍රය මම කරුණා සතුන්ට මහා කරුණාව. May that noble feet, those noble beings, be but to see the whole world gets these blessings, that sacredness. Sri Bhagya Sadhana Maharajage, Manulo Ai, Dinatama Nirima, Sansina Makati. අරක දාන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඔම රිලැක්ස් කරන් ඉන්න බොඩි එක. චුට්ටක් ඉන්න. චුට්ටක් අඩු. Comment. Matthew, පොඩ්ඩක් හිට ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? කොහොමද රිලැක්ස් කරන්න. Now close your eyes for 5 minutes. Close your eyes for 5 minutes. Don't talk today. Tomorrow morning you can eat some food. Or today you can eat some food. Tomorrow you can talk. Try to keep silent.